hard to take your car in, scheduling issues, okay? So different individual customer expectations about how it's going to look when it's get done and how good a job they do. Sometimes repair shops actually damage your car, and that's a pain, okay? And weather changes can, cause lots of different problems. There aren't that many weather changes in Saudi Arabia, though. It's hot and dry and hot and dry. Okay. So what are the gains that people can, could get from our service? A high quality of service. They can get a better self-esteem by having, when people get served better, when service comes to them where they want, or when they want it. It enforces their self-esteem, makes them feel better about themselves. Okay, environmentally friendly. It keeps them, it's better for the environment to not be like having big shops and causing a lot of pollution. They can get recognized from their peers. They say, oh, this guy has a luxury service coming and taking care of his car. Car looks better all the time, it's clean and polished. People notice that and it makes you look good. Okay, so it's easy to get used, it's a gain, it's easy to use that app instead of having to call people up and make appointments at a shop. And access to other car related products and services, another gain they can get, okay, that they can see other things they need. So we did our customer profiles. We looked at what the customer looks like. They look like Khalid, this young fellow with a car, really loves his car, and then he's got all these different things. And so we've described our customer. Now let's talk about our product, and how we're going to design our product to fit our customer. Okay. So, all right, we start off with the product characteristics. Okay, what are the things that our product's going to do? What are the customer touch points? Touch points are any place that you're interacting with your customer as a touch point. Okay, so like when you come to class, if I look at you as my customer, when you drink coffee and eat little bon chems, then those are touch points. That's where, different things. If I gave you bon chems that made you sick, I didn't buy it from the bakery closest to my house because they didn't look like a very nice bakery, and I wouldn't want to get it at a better quality bakery. If I gave you things that made you sick, that would make you upset with me and make you upset with the school. So every interaction is a touch point, is what I'm trying to get. It's not just about the slides or about the teacher or about the test or the project. Everything is part of your satisfaction. Okay. So we want to look at our product's performance and all the places we touch our customer. All the different interactions. Okay, we want to look at the benefits in terms of relieving the pains that they had and creating gains for them that they needed. And look at important elements of customers' products, like their service descriptions, their product benchmarking. So so we're looking at our competitors. We're doing all these things to try and figure out our product. Okay, looking for future development of the product to see what it needs. So we made up our value map before, right? Did you make up value maps for your products?
For this, not yet.
Not yet. You need to do that, right? Yeah. Okay. So you're going to make up your product value map with your pain relievers of like what the service is doing for them, the gain creators, like what the product is going to help them with, and in the product characteristics or proposition, what is the base product, and how's it going to fit into those things. So the service we're going to offer is a mobile car care project. That's a multiple car service delivered to the customer's location. Specializes in car detailing, like scratch repair, cracked windshield repair, applying car protective films to keep it looking nice, oil changes, car washes, flat tire services, among other services that are provided upon request. One service that they had to add afterwards is battery service. The heat in those places makes car batteries go bad twice as fast as they do in other places. Window tinting and shading, as you can imagine, that's pretty important there. Conditional, they can condition the vinyl and the leather surfaces, so they're going to do detailing inside the car to make the surfaces better, and just sell little accessories for your car. I don't know, little things that hang on your mirror or whatever. So all of these included in their little van that they go out and service, and customers' requests are made through an app so that people can order it easily. My friends in the UAE had owned all the Firestones in the country, and they were adding on another thing. They added on larger trucks that have you ever watched them change tires for cars and things? They've got a big machine, they put the tire on, and it goes in a circle to take it off and put it on. Big heavy machine. But they got a larger truck and they put those machines on there so they can go out and actually put new tires on for people without them having to come to the shop. And that was a big thing for a lot of people, because I don't know, if you're like worth $100 million, you don't want to go hang around a car shop while they're changing your tires. You want them to come and do it for you. So a lot of the rich Arabs just don't want that to happen. A lot of them are very wealthy, by the way. Car care, are touch points. The car vehicles have all the tools to solve customers' problems immediately. Okay, so we have all the tools. We have an app that's an easy way to communicate with people. So it's an app that's a big touch point. Excuse me. So it's easy. Sorry, I need to drink more coffee. So it's an easy one-button call to service providers. We're maintaining alert, and all of these things are great ways to contact our customers. So our one-stop car care service is provided to customers everywhere in the country. We solve immediate problems, as well as continuously check on customers' cars. We use our app as an easy-to-use communication channel to call for support, and our well-trained staff provides, high-quality services. So that's the benefits of our services, and how does that compare to our competitors? Okay, so we looked at benchmark comparisons for best practice companies or best-in-class competitors, people who are really good at car service in our country. Okay, we looked at the products and services they offer, their strategies, their distribution channels, their prices, their advertising. And we wanted to question what characterizes the competitors, what makes them fiercer competitors, what makes them tough competition, what makes them good, why do people like them? Okay, that's what we're asking. So we identify, the weaknesses of our competitors and their strengths. What is working for them? So we classified them into 3 categories. Small workshops, okay, they're just like independent workshops that do repairs for people. Gas station chains, okay, they do a low level of service, but they do a lot of service, okay, and medium-sized workshops. So there's 3 different stages. When I was in the UAE, the only place there were McDonald's were at the gas stations. Gas stations and McDonald's were all combined together in that country. The McDonald's were not very good there. but they did deliver. So medium-sized workshops and gas stations. So there's three kinds of competitors there. We had to think about which ones are, most competing with us, or are they all? So the small workshop, all three had kind of the same for quality of service. Okay, so we're going to try and do better on quality of service. Convenience, small workshops not very convenient at all. They're only open when their owner feels like it. It's hard to get them to be there. Medium-sized workshops are open more. They're a little more convenient. And then the gas stations are open all the time, so they're very convenient. Expertise, small shops, not so good. Okay, medium-sized shops are, pretty good. These are people who really are doing, hands-on work. Interesting, the gas stations, as you'd expect, they're, not that much expertise. They're good at selling you gasoline and doing simple things, but they're not doing major repairs. So, problem resolution, again, small workshops just aren't much competition, but medium-sized shops and gas stations are pretty good. So what we're trying to do is be better than all of them. We're trying to resolve problems better than anyone, have better expertise, and more convenience. So, we think we're rating well, we're going to compete well, and we think for future development, we're going to try and develop more products to sell with our car. Things for people for car care, maybe, I don't know, if we're in Saudi Arabia, we could sell things like steering wheel covers. You know what I mean by a steering wheel cover? Like a cloth thing that goes over the steering wheel so it's not so hot when you get in the car, and things like that. Do your cars get really hot inside here when they sit in the sun all day? Yeah. Okay, most of you don't drive cars, so it doesn't matter. All right, never mind. Never mind. Okay.
Mình vừa mới nhìn xuống cái thấy 4-3 tin nhắn trong nhóm luôn.
Marketing and distribution. Okay. What's our marketing strategy going to be for the product? Okay, how do we, marketing strategy is, a lot of things, but, we have to create awareness, we have to create, a pricing policy, we have to establish a brand image, and we have to establish a channel for feedback from customers, an evaluation channel, or a way for them to test the product and try it out. Okay, so new products, getting people to try it is a major thing sometimes. Oftentimes in stores, in the US at least, we have people set up with stands and are just giving out free samples of new products to get people to try it so that they'll be more likely to buy the product in the future. So we call it sampling. Gee. They don't do that here, do they?
They do at the supermarkets.
It's a supermarket? Okay. Yeah, I just don't go to supermarkets. I go down the street and buy from people there. Okay. What? All right. So awareness, it's tough to do. Like in the change in the last 20 years in marketing, a lot of advertising was on television and and radio in the past, and it had we had longer exposures, longer commercials, and we really got a message across to people, right? And then we could work on brand image and establishing what our brand is to people and things. Now, you barely get a little flash of an ad on the internet, and people hardly look at it and it goes away. And what a lot of advertising now mostly just builds awareness and doesn't get much of a chance to build the brand. So we have to work on brand building whenever we can, wherever we can, because building the brand is what differentiates us and trying to get that message across. In YouTube, I've noticed YouTube now, like if you're watching a show or something and there are ads in it, sometimes there'll be a timer. You can't watch the rest of the show unless you watch the ad for 5 or 10 seconds or something like that. Have you ever seen that? Yeah. Well, those are the kind of things you do if you want to get a message across to people. You're trying to position your brand and build a brand, doing branding and imaging. So branding is something, it's a struggle, and it's much more difficult than it was in the past, and it's very, very valuable to you and your customers. So creating awareness is one thing. That's like a quick flash. But when people see that flash of your product and become aware of it, that should activate in their memory all of the things they think about with your brand image. Okay? So establishing a good brand image enables your awareness advertising to be 10 times more effective than it would be if you didn't have a brand image established. So you've got to build that image. Okay. So what's your price policy? How, when we introduce a new product, do we use a low price to get a lot of people to buy it? Or do we use a high price and just try and get a high profit from the people who are willing to pay a high amount? Okay? We'll talk about that in a few minutes, but it's a difference between what we call penetration pricing and skimming pricing. And very, very important concepts. So, let's see. Important elements are how people in distribution, how people are going to buy the product, and how we're going to get it to them. So people can buy, we were talking a few minutes ago by the water cooler of Lazada and Shopee and things. We can buy from them, but then they have to have a delivery network to bring it out to us. Shopee has their own network, but Lazada uses whoever they can. And, so different people deliver the product to us. And, trying to figure out the right way to get it delivered is important. Hello, welcome back. We were waiting for you. We can start now. Okay. And so, trying to select how you're going to sell the product to people and how you're going to deliver it. You're going to sell it in stores. You're going to sell it on the internet. You're going to sell it on Lazada. I mean, if you're, what's an expensive purse? Anybody, do you know what an expensive brand of purse is?
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton?
Okay. Queen of Versace. Luxury brands.
What, luxury brand? What's the most expensive one?
MS.
Huh? Okay. Whatever. If you're going to sell this expensive purse with expensive branding, you could say, oh, I'll just sell it everywhere and people can buy it. Well, you want to think about that. Do you want to sell it on Lazada? Do you want to sell it on Shopee?
Maybe in the future.
No, you don't want to, because it makes your product it makes your product look cheap to sell it that way. Okay? If you can find it on Shopee, it's automatically not a luxury product, right? Okay? So people don't sell their high-end products in the cheapo ways to buy things, right? Shopee and Lazada just they're glitzy, like bargain discount kind of place. So people don't sell things there. So you don't sell your luxury products there. You don't sell your high-end stuff there because it cheapens their image. Okay? You pick out what stores you're going to sell it in, and what channels you'll sell it through, and that's the only way you can keep your price up. If everybody can buy it, well, then it's not worth as much. People won't pay for it. It has to be like an elite thing that you bought at a special place. Okay? If you can buy it at the little store down the alley, by my house, or I grocery shop, then no, it's not worth very much then, you know, because that's for common people. So same thing with a lot of luxury products. It's not just what it is, but it's where you acquire it and all the things about it that make it a status product, an elite product. So you have to think about these channels and where you're going to sell things through. Relationship marketing in CRM is another issue. Is how are we going to sell our product, you know, to other people around the world? You know, how are we going to keep our customers coming back? You have to have a relationship with your customers. You know, I think I tried to make the point earlier that we don't try and just sell our product one time to a customer. We want repeat purchases. If not repeat purchases, we want them to be recommending us. That we want them to be, you know, giving us word of mouth to their friends and getting other people to buy from us. So we want a relationship with them and keep talking to them and keep them buying from us in the future. So relationship marketing says we don't view each customer as one purchase. That's transaction marketing. We want to think of them as a relationship where they're a stream of purchase forever into eternity. So every customer at Amazon they think of as a lifetime stream of purchases. You know, they think once they buy there, they're going to keep buying different things there, and they develop a model to estimate how much you're going to buy and what your value to the company will be. And then, you know, like a lot of smaller companies, smaller than Amazon, if they selling direct, they can estimate what their customers are going to value their customer base is. You've got a customer base and they're repeat purchasing, okay? You can estimate how much your customer is going to repeat purchase, and you can estimate that as a value of your company. You estimate you're going to have that much future sales. That's a value, equity of your company in terms of your customer relationships. So your brand loyalty is an equity of your company. You know, buying McDonald's is an equity of your company. You know, equity. If you own a McDonald's, okay, people have a habit of coming there. They're loyal customers and things, and they're repeat customers. That's a value. If you buy a McDonald's, you're not just buying a place to make burgers. You're buying a place that has all that equity of the customer base, of the customer loyalty, okay, and the brand image. All of those things are things you're buying when you buy a McDonald's. McDonald's without loyal customers is, you know, not worth that much money. It's basically a lotteria then. So, you know, transaction marketing is like, you know, kind of when we think about people as a one-time sale. All right, if you're, you know, going out to the night market with a table and you're selling a bunch of stuff that your uncle gave us or something, and you're doing it one time and you never plan on seeing those customers again, and you probably won't even be there again. Okay, that's transactional marketing. You're just making a deal right then, and you're not going to see those people again, and you're done with them. Okay, not that many products that you profit that way from. Most businesses are based on trying to have relationships and either repeat purchases or good word of mouth recommendation from your customers. So, so let's see, can you think of any examples of transactional marketing? Anything? You sell it once and you're not going to have any relationship, you just move on.
Like where they're selling tours.
What?
The visitor just goes to Hanoi once in their life, and they enjoy one of our tours, and
Okay.
they don't go back.
Yeah, I'm going to come on one of your tours next week. So that's a transaction. You sell to them once, and you don't bother to try and sell to them again because they're probably not going to come back. Okay, but you might, put them on an email list to say, recommend to your friends or
Right.
discount for your friends if they come or something. So you still want a relationship with them. Even if it's they only buy once, if they recommend you, that's buying again. Okay, so it's still not purely a transaction. There are very, very few things where you sell once and walk away and don't care about that customer anymore. And it's hard to find those really. Most, and usually it's, what you want to buy. What about, somebody selling Bansukem, okay? Would you want people who are doing transactional marketing that are just selling it once and don't want repeat purchases? What do you think? Would you want to buy from them?
No.
No, because they don't care about the quality of the product, because once they sold it to you, they're walking away. All right? You want people that want relationships, that you want people that are selling to you because they want your future business. Relationship marketing serves the customer better because the company, the businesses want your future business, so they're going to try and provide better products. They're going to try and provide better service. They're trying to do a better job for you, so you come back, and they'll make sure that your chem is not spoiled and you're not getting sick from it. So they're trying to provide better things for you. So you should eat all of these today, right? Did you finish them yet? What? Yeah. Okay, good. Because if you leave them sit overnight, they can spoil. But transactional transaction marketing is kind of passé. It's not done very much, because most things are more than one-time trial. We want people that refer us or repeat purchases from us. In fact, you talked about trips to Hanoi. Okay, as an example, I'm going to make up an example. What if you partnered with another company in Bangkok, and they sold trips to Bangkok, and you could start a referral service of, you enjoyed our trip to Hanoi, try our partner's trip to Bangkok, and then you could get repeat purchases from cross-referring people to try different places after they've tried the first one, or maybe even farther away to India and places like that. You tried India, now find a place that's not disgusting. Come to Vietnam, and that was a joke, but nobody got it. I talked too fast. You got it? You heard what I said?
I thought that I just get a joke.
But what are the
I was telling him an advertisement. I said, people, you tried India, now try a place that's not disgusting and come to Hanoi. So he could advertise the people that did trips to India.
But what about the taxi service that is a fraud that if you go from the city center to the airport and the taxi service charge you $50 and the next time you don't want to buy it.
Oh, okay. So if they were, so that's something outside of your control?
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know what you can do about that, other than offer your own, get your own drivers to pick them up, or partner with drivers to pick them up. I think partnering with drivers would be a good thing to do. You should have a set of drivers you can recommend that they can trust. And if I'm giving advice on your business, I might as well. And so if you're going to send you have a set of drivers that you can recommend to them, and train your drivers to get out of the car with a little sign with their name on it, because people are very intimidated coming to a country where they don't speak the language and they're surrounded by a lot of people and things, and they don't know where they're going or how they're going to find you. And so have drivers get out of the car and hold their name up so that people can find them easier. I know it might be easy for you to find the driver because you're used to things here, but for foreigners, they like that, and it makes them feel special. It's like, you know, it makes them, in the US only like the chauffeurs come, you know, with limousines and they hold up signs for people. But it makes them feel like they're important if somebody does that for them. So if they're even if they're by the curb, just get out of the car, stand by the car and hold their name up, and your customers will be much happier. Sorry. But you need to make partners. So promotion is one of the ways that we, you know, try and get our product out. It's like, how do we sell our product? How are we getting people to buy the product? Okay, and there's a lot of ways. You know, advertising. We can do print advertising. My gosh, that's pretty passe, right? How many times have you? I haven't even seen, I don't think, a printed newspaper since I came to Hanoi. Are there any anymore?
Just a few.
Just a few. I don't know where to find them, but maybe I have to go to the right stores or something. I need to get some because they're really good. When you make fried potatoes, you put them on the newspaper to soak the oil up. Other than that, I'm not sure what good newspapers are. Newspapers are good. Print media is one way to advertise. Magazines used to be good. Magazines are better than newspapers because they last forever. You know, you might pick up a magazine 5 years old and still see the same advertisements in it. So that was nice, but they're fading out too. People don't keep magazines stacked around their apartments or houses because it's, you know, it's better to have a laptop there, right? And so, yeah, TV and radio, okay, those are working great. But TV is losing its effectiveness because why? Because people are streaming, right? You know, it's not really TV anymore. If you're streaming, it's more like surfing. And so it's, you know, TV is changing radically. You have to think about the model of what TV was. TV before cable. Let's see, do you remember times, did you have times in your life where you had TV that was received by antenna and then watching it on television, or have you had always cable in your lifetime? When you watch television, when you're a child, you were a child once, right? Okay, good. You know, did the TV have an antenna, or was it cable TV?
When we were, I think, 3 years old, it used to have TV antenna.
Okay, so when you were very, very young, and everything switched to cable. Okay, all right. So used to be TV was on antennas, and you would only get 5 or 6 channels at best, and you were stuck with whatever they watched. Whatever they played is what you watched. And, you know, and they had commercials every 15 minutes that you had to watch, because you had no choice, because you had to wait. And so that's how TV used to be. And there was a kind of a contract between the viewer and, you know, and the TV show. It's like the viewer would voluntarily give them their attention to watch the ads, and the advertisers would pay to produce the TV shows. Because the advertisers are the ones paying for the shows, right? Those shows wouldn't exist without, you know, the soap companies or the car companies or whatever paying for the advertisements. So the advertisers pay for the show, and they give it to you in exchange for you giving them your attention for watching the show and the ads, right? And so that's the original model. And so basically, that model carries forward to the internet still. When we talk about, on the internet, there's a concept of content, okay? When we think about content, it's what do you have on your website that makes people come to it, okay? TikTok has user-supplied content. All that stuff on there, that's content that users supply. News sites, they have their own editors and reporters, and networks that help them get news, and they put that up, and that's content, okay? And the better the content, the more people that come, more eyes that come to it. The more eyes that come to it, then, you know, that's the more they can charge for advertisers to be on there, okay? Concept in advertising, have you ever heard the term CPM? It means cost per thousand. I know 1,000 doesn't start with M, but don't challenge me on that. But cost per thousand is how we sell advertising. Okay, we have measurements of how many people are watching a specific show, how many people are going to a specific website at any time, how many people are, you know, using TikTok and watching things, and we charge our advertiser on the basis of 1,000 views. We give them, like, you know, well, it's going to cost you, you know, $10 for every 1,000 people, or $1 or whatever. And so we charge them on cost per thousand of getting viewers to watch their advertisement. And that's how we do billing, you know, so all the websites are always trying to fight for good content, because that's what drives, you know, eyes to them. And the more eyes that are looking, then, you know, then you can charge more money because you have more thousands, so your cost per thousand, you know, you're going to get more money. Does that make sense?
We
You
do
understand?
with cost per click.
Cost per click, okay, that's another phase of it. You can do cost per thousand, and then cost per click. That, you know, but you don't get to click before you get the eyes. So in advertising across the board for looking at ads, there's cost per thousand. Then if you have things where you want people to click through, you know, that's a different things. That's after they've seen it, then you can have a place for them to click, and then you know, and that's worth more because that's showing more interest than just watching it. But on YouTube, there's no cost per click because you're not asking people to click there. I don't think you are, at least usually. Some of them are interactive, but most of them is just move on. So yeah, and that's a great way to pay for advertising, right? If you can do cost per click, because you're only paying for the people that have come through to your product. I've seen some disreputable websites, though, that purposely move things around and get you to accidentally click through. Have you ever had that, where you didn't mean to click on something, but you clicked on it because the ad's moving and stuff? And they're probably charging a cost per click to their advertiser, and your click wasn't a real click. It was an involuntary click. So these people are just cheating their advertisers. So, you know, there's TV and radio and digital media for advertising, and those are all viable and all have different purposes. I haven't listened to the radio since I came to Vietnam. Probably a good reason for that. I can't figure out what it is. But do you listen to radio much? No? Okay, it's not a big media here. You listen to what?
Spotify. Apple Music.
Apple Music, okay. Spotify, is that what you said? Yeah, that's my favorite. I like Spotify. And listen to Johnny Cash. And I like these apps, and there's no with good digital communication on your phones. I mean, good mobile. There's no reason to you know, to listen to radio anymore. And so it's kind of a dying kind of thing. But doesn't it get expensive listening to music all the time? Do you have to buy higher data rates or something? No? Okay. All right. Sales promotions, well, we do samples, free samples. Okay, that's the important point to make is make sure your free samples are good quality and don't try and be cheap on your samples, because it can go two ways. It's a two-edged sword. It can be a free sample that makes people want to eat it again or try it again, or it can be a free sample where people say, well, that's bad, I'm not going to try that one again, and they never go back. And so, you You know, I saw people doing like a free lobster dinner with, you know, with purchase of whatever in restaurants in the U.S. Then you go there and the lobster is like a little midget lobster, it's like a little tiny lobster, you know. So people go there and they expect a dinner and they feel cheated afterwards, right? And so, you know, if you cheat people on your free thing, then it makes your promotion have the opposite effect. And so people have to be careful. They always want, if it's free, they want to save money on their costs. Wrong thing to do. Okay. You can have shows to sell things. Sometimes people do in-person shows and in crowded areas. They'll put on a show and demonstrate something. I saw somebody in the park with standing up on a box and speaking to a lot of people today. You know, when I was walking by, I don't know what he was saying, of course, but I figured out it probably wasn't about politics because that would be a bad move. You know, he might have been selling something or discussing some kind of promotion that he was trying to do. Maybe he was talking about some spiritual thing, who knows? But he was standing up and getting a lot of people following him. Maybe he wants to be the next guru. But people put on shows and doing selling. They do selling shows on the internet and places. I can't see myself watching one for more than, you know, the time it takes to turn the channel, but it happens. Coupons. Okay, there's one way to do a promotion to get people to do the trial. You know, obviously you all know what coupons are. I told you about the risk of coupons. If you over coupon, then people refuse to buy without a coupon, and you've given away all of your profits. And special prices when we do price discounts. When we do that, okay, let's think about what are the different reasons that we'll do price discounts. Okay, we talked about Coke and Pepsi. They're trying to steal from rivals. Didn't work out well for them. Okay, what other reasons are we trying to do price discounts? Maybe if we're trying to get them to try the product, not in a rivalry sense, but just to get them to try it. They've never tried it before, or we're trying to get them to substitute it, or it's a brand new product they've never seen before. Maybe we'll do a price promotion to get people to try it and hope that they like it. You know, like my daughter used to like vegetarian chili in cans in the U.S., and so when there was a sale, I'd buy it. We found out we liked it, and so we paid more for it next time. Okay, so you know, we can do special prices. What other times, strategically, what if you're a company that's in business and trying this decided she's going to come and compete with you, and she's going to sell the same product, and she's going to come and put it on the shelf right next to yours, and she's going to tell everybody hers is better. She's going to put her picture on, and because she's better looking than me, she thinks she's going to sell more. Okay, and I'm like, wow, what am I going to do? She's going to take away my sales. It's terrible. And so that's a reason to do price promotion also. You can, sometimes if you're evil, which I am, you'll cut your prices to keep new competitors out. So if a new competitor is coming in and you want them to not be profitable, you've been established, you have money in the bank, you cut your prices for a few months so that they fail, okay? So it's a way to get others to fail by cutting their prices too. It cuts out the new competitors.
But what about the students' promotion? Like, I'm doing a lot of online courses, and if I can prove that I am a student, I can get a lot of discounts.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's a form of what we call price discrimination, which is a good thing, okay? Usually they talk about discrimination as bad because you're treating people differently than another. That's not always bad. We should treat students differently than non-students because you're, you know, spending a lot of money and time on your education. We want to give you a break on things, so it's okay to discriminate towards students. And old people, I don't know if they do this in Vietnam, but old people get lower prices in the U.S. And so they have 65 and over and 60 and over. And so when you get lower prices, we call it price discrimination. We're giving different groups different prices not on racial reasons or anything, but because of, like real reasons that that they don't have enough economic buying power, so we're giving them, a break to do things. And it's a reasonable thing to do. And so it's a good way to do price promotions, but it's a type of sales promotion, I guess you could say, and I like it. I think especially college students, you really want to attract college students to be loyal customers and get them to use your product, because what happens to college students? Most of them graduate and get jobs, right? Most of them. And then they have more money to spend, right? And those are the kind of people you want as your future customers, right? So we want to be nice to them while they're students, so they'll be nice to us after they graduate, right? So we're trying to build loyalty amongst those people. Okay. So personal sales, Salesforce management is, every one of these topics is almost a whole course in itself. So I'm sorry I'm belaboring points, but probably after this slide we'll quit for the day, because I noticed some of you are yawning and getting sleepy. Salesforce management is, a tricky thing with a lot of different ways to manage your sales force. You can organize your sales force by geography, handling different parts of the country, or you can organize your sales force by large companies and small companies. If you're selling to businesses, maybe you'll have a sales force that, one group that only sells to large companies because they have different needs, and one group that only sells to small companies because they need to be treated differently. And if you, you might have different sales forces for different age groups, or, a lot of different things you might have for different sales forces or different organizations of your sales force. And you might have a multi-level sales force sometimes. How many levels of sales manager and district manager and things that go down depending on how much interaction you have to have with the individual salespeople. Oftentimes in multi-level organizations, the person, at a higher level works hard on recruiting people because they know they can make money off of them. So they try and recruit a lot of hard-working, energetic, motivated people to work under them, because for every sale they get a commission above them. So the multi-level things end up to be big recruiting games of how good you can recruit people. And it's it's interesting. Some products are only commission. You only make money by selling commissions on it, and you make money. And they call them pyramids sometimes, when you make money from the people that report to you, and everybody can report people to report to them. So you could, if person A recruits B and C, then B and C can go out and recruit, D, E, F, and G, and then those people can recruit a whole bunch more, and pretty soon person A has 200 people, all reporting up to them, selling and recruiting more people. And this pyramid game kind of thing where everybody is recruiting more people to work for them usually collapses after a while because there's nobody left to sell to. But those things are all commission run. There's usually no salary involved, and that becomes it's an iffy thing to get involved in. And if you're at the top of the pyramid, maybe you can make a lot of money, but most people are more about trying to convince you to join and exaggerating how much they make because they want you to join and start recruiting other people. So they're just in the game of telling stories to get you to recruit, and to get you to join and then get you to recruit and take a commission all up the line of everybody that reports to them. So it's some multi-level marketing things most are things you don't want to get involved in. Okay, they probably have those in Vietnam because a lot of poor economies have those things going on, taking advantage of poor people. Let's see, publicity. Okay, is another part of how we promote our products. Okay, publicity is getting people to write articles about us, okay, and put them in their news sites, okay, or what else is publicity? Okay, TikTok, if you get, there are these things or people, sometimes they're people, sometimes they're things, called influencers. Do you know any influencers? Yeah. I'm not very influential. But influencers are, you get an influencer to talk good about your restaurant, or to talk about your sandals, or your, barber shop, or whatever it is, or, or your scooter, okay? So you get the influencer to talk positively about it, suddenly all their followers come and try it, right? So it can be really, really super valuable for people. So some of these influencers make unbelievable amounts of money, millions of US dollars, from both their sponsors and from, just the view clicks that they get. And so whenever you go online and you thinking about buying a laptop, you'll see lots of people do reviews of laptops. They're all trying to be influencers, right? And they're all getting commission based on eyes that come to them and things like that, and getting a promotion from the company that paid them a fee to do it. So publicity comes from all these forms, and getting people to do speeches about you. Sometimes there are ratings organizations. Excuse me. In the U.S., there's a place called Consumer Reports that does testing of products and publishes them. Okay, that's influencing also. But all these different things where people are, giving ratings, reports, doing discussions and mentioning you. These are all publicity, and kind of a mix between advertising and publicity comes like product placement. Okay, if there's a big hit movie, let's say, tell me a big popular movie that's worldwide popular. Can you think of one? Oppenheimer, okay.
Titanic.
Yeah, I know him. Okay, so Oppenheimer. He, okay, worldwide famous. So if he's, with his friends and he's drinking a bottle of bourbon, okay, if I could put my brand name on that bottle showing outwards, that's called product placement. So people pay a lot to movies to get their product placed in the different films, and so that they can, get all the free press. Whenever people see that movie, they see that product, they want, makes them think, oh, I'm going to buy that product and things. So getting that done, even like, I remember years ago, remember a guy named Gorbachev used to be head of the Soviet Union, okay, a long time ago. One time at a speech, somebody managed to get a can of Pepsi with right in front of him for a famous photograph at a speech he was giving one time. Incredibly valuable product placement. I'm sure he wasn't aware of it, but somebody snuck it in and put it there. And very valuable product placement for them. They got them a lot of payoff for years of the product being there. So getting your ad into films, into shows, getting your product showing in those things, it's a big industry, and somewhere in between advertising and publicity. Not sure. The downside of publicity, there's a downside. Publicity is more believable. People believe a reviewer more than they believe an advertisement, right? Because they think, oh, a reviewer, they're going to be objective, right? Nah, nonsense. But the reviewers, they believe the reviewers more. But the bad part is you have less control over what reviewers say. They could say anything. They might try your product and think, oh, it's nice, but I hate it. And if they say they hate it, then none of the people watching will ever use your product, right? So you have to be careful. That's the threat of publicity, is that it can also be negative instead of positive. And that's the big drawback of publicity, is that you don't control it as much. Okay, any questions about any of the stuff I just said? Have you had enough of me today? You ready to go home? and well, I think you should be tired of me. And I will come tomorrow with tiramisu, and banh mi kem, and when we'll be refreshed and do some more stuff. Okay.
Can't wait for
All right. Have a nice night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.